Hello. Wow, that was really anticlimactic. You'll have to excuse me. I'm getting over a cold, which I'll be talking about. And actually, there's a cough drop in my mouth right now. Um, but yes, yes, yes. Hello, hello, hello. Woo, woo, woo. Welcome to Camchurch, everybody. Welcome to Camchurch. This is so exciting. I missed you guys. It's been a while. Welcome to Camchurch. Go ahead and say hello to everybody in the chat. Um, yeah, please go ahead and say hello to everybody in the chat. Thank you, Mama D, for $7. It is $7 Sunday. So please, if you can, be sure to donate whatever $7 means to you. And we have an awesome Yule message from Mama D, who's saying good Yule and wishing all a safe, happy, and prosperous New Year. Uni blessed. Good Yule to you too. Thank you. Well, thank you, Shelby. All right, all right. Let me go ahead and do some announcements. While I'm doing announcements, as I said in the chat, be sure to get some water, be hydrated, get some tea, if that resonates with you, or some coffee or hot chocolate, um, whatever is a nice cozy drink for you. This is a pretty cozy stream. I have my humidifier going. I don't even know if I can show you guys it. Let me see if I can scoot it over because she's plugged in, so I can't move her too far. But she's a little cat. She's a little cat guy. He's so cute. I have my humidifier going. Um, and then I have my really cool cozy light. I've shown some of you guys this, but it's this light. It's a toaster. And when you press the little toast switch, it goes click, and then it turns on. It's the coolest thing. And it's rechargeable, and it's so small, but it can light my entire room. Like whenever I'm going to bed, I kind of use it as a nightlight, but it's so small. But anyway, for announcements, so it's Yule, it's holidays, it's Merry Christmas, it's whatever holiday that you celebrate, if you celebrate anything, and if not, then it's time to celebrate yourself. What? There's never like, you don't need a special day to celebrate yourself. You can do it on your birthday, which is fun, but like, time isn't real. You can make any day your birthday. Who's gonna check you? Nobody. So celebrate whatever makes you feel good around this time of year. So, like I said, we're gonna be doing a cozy stream today. So grab your tea, grab your hot chocolate. If you want to drink hot water, grab that. Grab regular water. I have my regular water. Grab something warm, something nice, something that's hydrating, something that feeds your soul and your spirit. Go ahead and sing to your water. Ah. Or you could also say, hey, water, you're a nice person, and I think that you're the coolest water person around. Because they're probably the only water person that is in your direct vicinity. Speak nice words of affirmation into your water that programs your water. So when you drink your water, you then take in that programming. So for additional announcements, if you haven't joined Unicult, what are you doing? Go ahead and join Unicult. You can go ahead and join Unicult at joinunicolt.com. If you're a real one, you can go on UN1V3 or S3 and join Unicult that way. You can also sign up for our Etsy application. The Etsy application is $11.11. It's about the price of a really nice sandwich. And you can go ahead and pick up an application and join a cult on the internet that you found on youtube.com. And now you're in a super cool cult. How does that happen? So that's our first announcement. Please go ahead and join Unicult if you haven't done so already. There's a bunch of cool stuff that's happening in the server. And then what else? Ooh, our hotline. So you can also call our hotline 1833 Unicult. Callers are not standing by the phone right now because they are currently watching Camchurch. And so after Camchurch, you can go ahead and call 1833 Unicult. And then today is $7 Sunday, so please be sure to donate whatever $7 means to you. Thanks again to Mama D. Thank you, Shelby, for your donation. And is that a demon baby? What am I looking at? I'm looking at the chat really small, so I'm like, wait, what? I'll appreciate it either way. But I'm like really curious. I'm like, wait, what is that? What is that little dude? It is. It's a little demon baby face. It's so cute. But yes, thank you so much for your donation. So whatever $7 means to you. And also, while y'all are sending in donations into the chat, this is also time to send in your prayers. Send in your prayer requests. Prayer requests. Throw your prayers in the chat and we will read them out. I actually have a candle today. I don't always have candles. Actually, I more often don't have a candle than I do have a candle. But on that note, I wanted to say that if anybody had their wishes from the solstice ceremony that we had, geez, when was that? Thursday? Um, if you're a member of the Discord and you're in our Discord, then you know that we had a solstice ceremony in which we wrote down 12 wishes for the upcoming year. And we're almost doing like a 12 days of Christmas countdown, except for we're not counting down to Christmas, we're counting down to the new year, in which every day we burn a new slip of paper, and then we'll be left with one additional slip of paper. So you have 12 slips of paper that are your wishes for the new year, and then every day leading up into the new year, you burn a piece of paper that has one of your wishes on it, and that is essentially giving an offering to the universe and essentially allowing the universe to take care of that. And so you're going to be left with one wish, and the remaining wish is going to be what you'll be responsible of taking care of for the new year, which I think is a pretty nice bargain. If it's just like, hey, universe, can you do these 11 things and I'll do this one thing? And I feel like that's pretty fair given like the expanse of the universe and the capacity of me by myself. I feel like that's a nice trade-off. Um, Thank you, Aaron, for your donation. And then I just saw that super chats for doing the little super chat thing. I didn't even realize that. I was like, wait, what was that? Oh wow, cool. Thank you for Aaron for your donation. Um, Shelby says it's a smiling imp emoji. Thank you for posting the website. Wait, I did that. Wait. Well, thank you me for posting the website. Um, and let's go ahead and get into these prayers. So with that being said, like I said, we're going to be burning one of those wishes today. So if you have one of your wishes from the ceremony that we did, go ahead and take that out. If you don't have one, you can still participate. Just write down 12 things that you're hoping for the new year that you're wishing for, and you can burn one of those today. All right, but before we do that, let's go ahead and read these prayers. Whoop whoop. Shelby says happy hugs, babes. Nice. And also green. um, Zofia Dramaticas sending love to everyone. Shelby says your wool trench coat makes you feel warm and comfy. We're sending prayers out for warm clothing. Boop, 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 boop. We have a join Unicult today from Aaron. We have a yeet from Shelby. We have Unimagic is praying for joy and peace. Zofia is praying that everyone finds a little hope with whatever they are going through. Yes, yes. I'm gonna be praying for crazy like portal jumping that we all jump into the Dolphin Abundance timeline. I was watching a live stream today and I just fell onto it, and there were some parts where I was just like, ouch, okay, I did not need to hear that. You know, like when somebody's doing a tarot reading or something like that and it resonates too deeply, you're like, wait, I wanted a tarot reading. I didn't want to literally be read today. That was not my plans for today. And that's essentially what was happening during the live stream. Um, but they started talking about whales. They were like, I'm feeling called to talk about the energy of whales. I was like, whales? What does that mean? Um, because one of my wishes is to actually ride the Dolphin Abundance timeline within the upcoming year, which I'll talk a little bit about. It's part of the sermon. Um, and so the fact that whales got brought up was really weird. I was like, does that mean that I'm like, because whales are giant, so I'm like, does that mean that I'm like super dolphin? Whales are super dolphins. You heard it here first. I mean, they both go underwater and like go above water. Are are whales? No, wait, whales are not mammals. Are they? Listen, if I just made myself sound stupid on live stream, no, I didn't, because we only know like less than 1% of the ocean, okay? Cut me some slack. I'm looking it up right now. Are whales mammals? Yes, okay. Whales and dolphins, okay? They are both mammals. Okay, I'm not okay. But no, that's actually really interesting that whales also came up. Okay, we have more prayers, more prayers. We're praying for an abundant future of Unicult. Yes. We're prayers for healing and peace for all those being harmed and oppressed. Whales are a mammalian. Thank you, Shelby. Yeah, I wonder what's the relationship between whales and dolphins. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Crazy things you learn on the internet. Okay, let's see. Keep on sending in those prayers. I'm gonna light our candle. We're gonna send our prayers up to space heaven, and we're also gonna send our wishes up to space heaven. So if you have any form of fire thingy thing, anything that makes fire safely, please get that out so you can burn your wishes. It's so festive. I love candles around Christmas time. Candles and incense. I love that before I even got into witchcraft. So let's see how that ended with us. I got this cool shell from a witchy store. I think I got it around my birthday. I don't remember, but it's really nice to burn stuff in, and it's really holographic. I think it is a natural shell, but I don't think this was natural. But also it might be. But also I don't know. But I'm gonna go ahead and light this one. I've actually been really good at not looking at my wishes, because what I want to do is when I'm done, I want to look at the one that's remaining and have no idea what's remaining. So I folded them all into these little origami dudes. It's an origami cup. It's one of the first things I learned how to make, and I just burned them like that. And I took my fire alarm out of my room for the course of this, because I do not want my fire alarm going off every time I try to burn this. But please practice fire safety, guys. But it just looks so pretty. Look, wow. Oh, wow. It's so pretty. Hot things are hot. So please practice fire safety. So cozy. All right, what other prayers do we have coming in? Aw, Shelby, I hope you're okay. Prayers for more members, prayers for all our members, Unicole and the Uni Baby, prayers for the animals. We're praying for the crowd mindset becomes less warped. Yeah, praying that we can all learn to think for ourselves. Um, Praying for the humans, praying for the aliens, praying for all members, past, present, and future. Ooh, I love that. Uni bless. And just as all those prayers are coming through, my wishes now it's now ashes. I've been going out and just kind of blowing the ashes out. That is true. At the end of life, you start another adventure in your afterlife. All right. So, with that being said, let's jump into our sermon for today. Woohoo! Okay. So, today's sermon, as the title says, is what to do when it feels like the universe is dragging you through the mud. Speaking from personal experience. I'm going to take a sip of water before I start. I'm going to chomp up the rest of this cough drop. I don't know if you heard any of those chompings. It's probably for the best. If you did, that was free ASMR. You're welcome. Cozy holiday ASMR. Okay, let me have the chat popped up here so I can see what everybody's saying, but also get into the sermon. Whoop, whoop. We'll pop her up over here. There we go. The future is now. Okay, so what to do when the universe is dragging you through the mud? So I am not sure about you, but the universe has been dragging me through the mud all month, which is incredibly annoying because it's the end of the year. And it's like if you're at a party, at a holiday party, maybe some of you guys are going to holiday parties. It's like if you're at a holiday party and everyone was super chill from the moment you got there, and then while cutting the cake and while dancing around and like all the good vibes until you're almost ready to go home. And then everything, like everybody just starts talking a bunch of crap about you. Or like even more comical, all the guests decided to start a fight club while without telling you, and that's because rather than the guests fighting each other, they're all fighting you. So without warning, it's as if you're putting on your coat, someone just like decks you in the face, and then the next thing you know, you're getting curb stomped before you can get to your car, and you just want to go home. And that's essentially what it feels like when the universe is dragging you through the mud in the last month of the year. Like you're at a holiday party, and right before you're ready to go home, everybody just decides without warning to just curb stomp you. So, I'm going to give a quick overview of my month because it has not been how you say cash money. It has not been cash money. It's not the best time. So, at the beginning of the month, my car was put into the body shop for repairs due to a car accident I was in last month. The accident wasn't my fault, so the repairs are covered, but it still left me without a car, especially because the body shop needed to order parts for my car. So, if you're unaware, ordering parts during the holiday when all mail services are backed up with Christmas gifts is the worst because it takes so much time for anything to arrive, right? So, I essentially like the estimated time is now like the 29th according to them. So I've spent majority of December cooped up in my house with no means of transportation. I've left my house a total of 6 times this month. 7 if you count a quick half-hour walk I took during the last hour of work one day because I could not mentally handle being stuck in my house for so long. December weather is cold, wet, and cloudy, and is not great for walking for transportation when you're anemic like me. That's not to complain or anything, but it's just to set the scene for the thing that's been hanging over my entire month. And I was slash am like stranded in my house, you know? I don't have anywhere to go. Limited sunlight, limited exposure, nowhere to go. So that's kind of the thing that's hanging over everything. And then last week, as I kind of mentioned earlier, I was hit with an illness that left me bedbound for 2 to 3 days. Due to not having a car, it was even more difficult to get things I needed, like medicine and groceries, etc. I felt isolated. I was sick, but also in physical pain due to my moon cycle hitting me on the same day that my illness was at its worst. So no amount of painkillers could help. I just had to wait it out in bed while I threw off my blanket and put it back on, turned on my heater, turned it on, turned off my fan, turned it on, rotated like a rotisserie chicken, trying to find the position that would help me feel my cramps the least. I was sweating and crying in bed. It was literally the definition of blood, sweat, and tears. And the final blow is while I was sick in bed, I had clicked on an ad on Facebook for a well known alternative fashion brand that was having a huge end of the year sale. I was excited because they were some nice deals, and I wanted to be able to treat myself to something nice while I was sick. I got my first few pairs of heels and hope for pole dancing, which is something I'm taking more seriously in the new year. I got some cool fashion pieces. I was happy to have something to look forward to when I was feeling better. I felt like I may be sick, but at least I'll have some awesome articles of clothing to wear at a great deal. Except it turns out that the website that I was looking at, that I thought was the well-known website that I was trying to go on, was actually a scam. And you wouldn't be able to tell unless you were incredibly vigilant. You see, they pulled a video from the actual website's social media and proclaimed that they were having a huge end of the year sale, which isn't like uncommon for most stores. It's really common. And so on top of that, they ripped the website. So it looked exactly like the official website for that brand. And it wasn't until I got the confirmation email and saw that the address was not the brand's address that I realized, okay, something was off. And I will kindly request that no one offers any advice regarding this situation because it's still kind of sensitive for me, okay? But yeah, so like I'd given them like $60 on my initial purchase, and then luckily, like, my bank credits back purchases made from scams and I got my money back. But I foolishly figured, oh, they're not gonna try anything else. This is just one of those scams where they just take your money for that purchase and then they just don't send anything. They're on to the next thing. They're not gonna try and run up my card. Wrong. So a couple of days later, they took my card information and they used it to somehow get into my Microsoft account, add themselves to my account as a family member, buy about $45 worth of gift cards, credit themselves, and then leave. And so again, I was able to freeze my card. I got it canceled. The person would have made more purchases, but my bank detects fraudulent charges. I have a good bank. Yay, 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 yay. Um, and so it's fine, but now I am left without a debit card until like they mail it to me, which again, it's Christmas, it's New Year. That's all going to be interrupting like the time that it takes for this to get back to me. So basically, bleh, I have no car. I'm in compromised health. I have no money at my disposal. I feel depressed and tired, both physically and mentally, and being scammed has left me feeling violated, anxious, and embarrassed as I, in good faith, told a friend about the sale and had to later tell her it was a scam. And she was like, yeah, it sounds like one, but she didn't want to say anything. So, of course, I felt stupid for falling for it, which is why I didn't want any comments about it. Like I said, I'm still sensitive. But yeah, December has not been super kind to me. It's just a month of shoving my face into the mud with no care about how I feel. And I only realized yesterday that apparently Mercury is in Gatorade. I didn't even know that. Mercury's in retrograde, Mercury's in Gatorade, Mercury's in the microwave. And it's going to be like that until January 1st. So suddenly, all of that made more sense. The universe doesn't hate me specifically. She hates all of us equally, of course. No, I'm joking. But clearly, if we're in this time, I can't be the only person who's been going through it. And a lot of people have mentioned that the vibes have just felt kind of off lately. This whole situation has got me thinking on what are we meant to do when the universe decides to drag us like this, to beat us up with no reprieve, no sense of remorse? What is the point? Like, what do you want? Is what I constantly say to the universe when they're doing this. I'm like, what do you want? What do you want from me? What? Sometimes look up into the skies dramatically. What? What is it? So, yeah, what do I do? I got nothing left to give you. What do we do in this situation? I wanted to say, what are we being called to do? But like that gave me too many flashbacks of being like in the Catholic Church. So I settled with, what do we do? We'll go with that. But before we get into what do we do, I want to read some of these comments because y'all are saying super cool stuff. Yeah, Overcon, it sucks when that happens. Yeah, conspiracy town, they really just, and I was like, sorry. The universe really just beat me all the way up. Oh yeah, no, Mama D, Facebook ads are so evil. Like now I'm just like I'm never going on a Facebook sale ad ever again. Like if I see that a website is having a sale, I'm going to go on the website directly. I'm not going to click through the ad, which is what like made it weird because I told my friend and my friend was like, "I'm on the website. They don't look like they're having a sale." It's like, "What are you talking about?" But, you know. So now you live and you learn, which we'll talk about. But yeah, so what do we do? What do we do when the universe is dragging us through the mud? So having a bunch of things thrown at you at once, with little chance to breathe, it can be super disorienting. You don't know your left from your right. You don't know your up from your down. Everything feels off. And the best thing to do when under this kind of strain is to then ground yourself and reorient. So if you're feeling disoriented, you don't know what's going on, you feel like you don't know where you are, you need to ground yourself and reorient. Meaning if the universe is dragging you through the mud, it is now time to dig your feet deeper into the mud. Stop, pause, look around. What's happening around you? Assess the situation. I knew a colleague while teaching who would use this phrase with their class when assessing a situation. The phrase is what, so what, now what? It's 3 parts. The phrase is popular in the business world for reflective thinking. It's also used in as a crisis management tool. So this would include personal crisis as well. So if something affected you, if it's not like a giant world problem, if there's something that's just affecting you, it still matters. You still have a right to feel bad about it. You still have a right to unpack those feelings and look into what exactly is it making you feel, because otherwise you're just going to be walking around with that, and so the universe is over here beating you up, and it's like you're not putting bandages on your wounds or like taking a look at your bruises and being like, dang, how did that happen? Why is that happening? What can I do to help make myself feel better? You're just walking around with broken limbs and busted teeth. I don't know where I was going with that. But yeah, regrounding and reorienting is crucial to be able to move on from a situation. How can you expect to move on if you have no idea where you are and you have no clue how to regain your footing after you've been hit by one thing after another? So back to the expression, what, so what, now what? When we take a look at the what, when we're looking at the what, this step is, what is the situation at hand? What happened? Describe the event at face value, because this is the most recent event that I'll use. Well, this is the most recent event that happened, so I'll use this as an example. So, like I was talking about getting scammed, if I were to describe that event at face value, I would say I found a Facebook advertisement. I went on a website. I thought the website was legitimate, and it turned out to be fraudulent. I got scammed out of over $100. That's my what. And notice it's very, very factual at face value. What happened? So what? This step is the most important step. I'm going to go a little bit on a tangent here and then I'll get back. This step is the most important step. Yet it's the step that a lot of our parents and their parents never taught us how to do. Our parents always taught us, what? Now what? What happened to you? Okay, so what are you going to do about it? You know, they never modeled that in between step. They never modeled the so what, where we get to analyze and make sense of the situation, where we can ask important questions like, how did that affect me? What emotions did that situation evoke? Why? We never really got a chance to unpack that stuff. Our parents and their parents and previous generations before us were literally just like, wow, so a bad thing happened. What are you gonna do? And you're sitting there like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm still trying to process what just happened to me. It's like those memes when they're like, it's about to be 2024. And then it's like, you're still processing 2018. You're like, what do you mean it's gonna be 2024? I, what? You know, you need to be able to process things, dude. Like, that's so important. So, this is the part where we get to unpack and really feel our emotions. The reason why so many of us blow up at a moment's notice when we have a lot of stuff on our plate is because we never sat down to process how the situation makes us feel. We're just on go, 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 go until seemingly out of nowhere, all of our systems crash and our ability to emotionally regulate, or in those cases, emotionally dissociate, collapses, and we have nothing holding us back from exploding on those we care about. It can be incredibly damaging to ourselves and others, which is why the so what is so crucial. Ask all the questions you may need. You can journal about it if you want. You can ramble it out loud to yourself if you want. That's what I did. Really understanding what the situation means to you and for you. Understand how you feel about the situation genuinely. No one else is in the room. So don't say you're fine if you're not fine. Chances are you're not fine. You went through a bunch of crap. You're not fine. So for me, like I said earlier, still using the scam example, I felt embarrassed. I felt anxious. When I got the text alert that was showing that someone was charging my card, my face heated up. If I could turn red, I would have turned red. I felt violated. I changed a lot of passwords. I felt trapped because I didn't have my debit card anymore. So I couldn't leave the house because I didn't have a card. I couldn't even, be like, well, let me get DoorDash or something. Something to make me feel nice. It's like the holidays, and I'd be like, oh, it would have been nice to DoorDash some pancakes or something. Dang, can't do that. I don't have a debit card. So for me, like I said earlier, still using the scam example, yeah, embarrassed, don't have a debit card. And so as you assess your emotions, you'll notice that something begins to happen. See, it's in this step that you begin to find clarity in your situation. I don't want to generalize and do the whole everything happens for a reason thing because some people subscribe to that, especially if a situation is sucky. Like, some people do subscribe to that sort of thought feeling, but like nobody wants to hear the live, laugh, love type of bull crap when things are like really, really, really sucky. Like, don't worry, it all happens for a reason. Listen, man, I'm going through it. Can you not? Can you really not? So I don't want to say that. But what I will say is for me is I began to understand why the universe seemed to be shoving me into a pile of the aforementioned bull crap. So, as I was listing out these emotions, I began to realize something. I had no car and was limited in leaving my house. I had no means of purchasing things. All of these things mirrored my experiences as a child. Growing up, I couldn't leave the house because we lived in the suburbs right off of a highway. You had to go through a highway exit just to go to McDonald's. I felt antsy. I felt trapped growing up. I felt envious of my peers who had debit cards and a relationship with their parents that was good enough for them to ask them to drive to the store regularly. I didn't have that. I was anxious to ask my parents for basic toiletries and looking at the situation and looking at the emotions that the situation brought up for me, I began to uncover more synchronicities. That was one thing that we were talking about in the Discord yesterday was synchronicities. Um, and the synchronicities were actually surrounding this topic in general. What do you do when the universe grounds you in the mud? And so I realized that the universe was putting me in the exact situation that I was in as a child, as an adult. As some of you may know, I've been in an apprenticeship for the last few months to become a shaman. A huge theme that's been coming up in my studies is the need for stillness. At one point, I found my child self screaming for quiet because her head has been so cluttered with information. The entire month, I've been working on that, not being on my phone until noon every day. Though I will admit, I did cheat while I was sick. Had to get on my phone. I was sick. I'm not going to sit in bed and do literally nothing. But I realized that this entire month, the universe has been isolating me, silencing the clutter and the noise. So because I was sick, I called out of work for the rest of the week. And because we're on winter break now, I was out of work for the rest of the year. I hardly left my house, which improved my hygiene and daily habits, which tend to falter when I have to go to the office. I was about to say the Hobbit, but I was about to go to the office. Um, I made more art this month than I've done any other month this year. I got so many things done that I've been meaning to do all year. And in addition, getting sick is what caused me to get scammed. I was on my phone miserable in bed early in the morning to see that ad, and that wouldn't have been the case if I weren't sick. And so getting scammed is the whole reason this sermon is here. Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to sit here and go, getting scammed is the best thing that ever happened to me because I get to tell you this story. Like, no, no, what? This sucks. This literally sucks so hard. I hate this. And it's done some good. Like, I hate it, but it's also done some good. Both can be true at the same time. So, for example, one of my New Year's resolutions, as I talked about earlier, is to ride the Dolphin Abundance timeline. Without a card, I'm forced to save my money until I get my card back. And getting a new card, to me, is a good sign from the universe. I've had my last debit card since I was in college. It wouldn't expire for another 4 years. If I'm riding the Dolphin Abundance timeline, then it only makes sense that the universe needs to make room for my new abundance with the brand spanking new card. New year, new card, new me, that whole thing. So that's kind of what I'm taking out of it. And I wouldn't have realized any of that if I hadn't taken a moment to analyze how this situation made me feel. This is why this step, the so what, is so important. And don't be afraid to follow it down a rabbit hole. If it takes you to your inner child self, your higher self, if it uncovers generational trauma, any sort of anything in between, follow your emotions and your thoughts, no matter how corny that may sound, and see where you end up. You'll always find an answer, even if that answer is, I don't know how to feel about this at that moment. That's still an answer. That's still one step closer to analyzing what's going on. If you don't know how you feel about that moment, analyze, why is that? Why is this bringing up so much confusion? Anyway, that brings us to our final step. So we've done the what, we identified the situation, we did the so what, we analyzed our emotions behind the situation and got to kind of pick apart, like, what can we learn from this? And then we got our now what. That is our final step. So we've unpacked and processed our emotions around the situations. What are our next step? This should only be done after we've processed our emotions around the situation. Our now what should only be done after we process. Otherwise, like we said before, we'll just find ourselves starting to create a plan of action around something we don't fully understand. Remember the whole feeling overwhelmed while trying to dissociate and figuring out a plan, and the second somebody bothers you, you snap at them? We'd be doing that if we didn't process. So this step should only be done after you processed everything. Um, so yeah, like I said, if you ever try to plan something disoriented, like something happened and it threw you off your balance and you try to pick up where you left off, then you're all scatterbrained, and the second somebody says something, that could potentially interrupt like your fragile train of thought. You snap at them because you're already on edge. So only do this step till you feel absolutely ready. This is the time to define your course of action, or now what. For me, I've been using this time to make art. I'm gonna clean and work on my New Year's goal. I'm gonna treat myself to dinner once I get my card back as a reward for making it through such a tough month. And yeah, that's it. It's nothing too crazy. It's not a lot of bells and whistles, unless they're jingle bells. Haha. Not a lot of bells and whistles. This is a cozy ending for 2023. This is another one of my wishes for 2024, is living a soft life. No unnecessary hardships, soft as marshmallows for me. So happy Yule, Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and we'll see you once more next week before the new year, which is so exciting. It's really cool to have both of these fun holiday eves happening the day of Camchurch. So we'll have a New Year's Eve Camchurch, just like we had a Christmas Eve Camchurch or a Yule Camchurch or whatever you want to celebrate Camchurch. Um, so with that being said, we will be having uni brunch over in the server. So go ahead and hop over to the server. We'll have uni brunch. I might make cookies. I'll have to see if I have the materials to make cookies, which will be fun. I don't think we have sugar. Poop. But we'll see what we can do. All right. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Sophia. Wow, thanks. Um, thank you, Mama D. Thank you, Aaron. All right.